Happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. Considering today's scenario, when all of our happiness and freedom of life have been chained down to a significant extent, let us all draw some inspiration from the father of the nation on his 153rd birth anniversary and follow a central path in our lives that shall not only bring about our own happiness but will also guarantee the happiness of our near and dear ones. As he said, action expresses our priorities. We shall all come together towards building a nation that not only conglomerates the individual actions for a better today, but also a sustainably sound tomorrow.
Dressed decently, though signs of hard menial work is conspicuous from the way he walks. Shoulders drooping, constant frown on his forehead. He sees an abundant ₹500 note on the sidewalk. His eyes light up for a moment. An unfamiliar voice startles
Earth
him.
provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed.
Yeah, the last thing I need is somebody preaching. They don't even know what I've gone through in this pandemic and they still judge.
My son, help will always be given to those who seek for it. But it seems that you have forgotten me. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah, who might you be? The Mahatma?
Indeed, is that so hard to believe?
They find new ways of fraudulent these days. What kind of a sick joke is this?
You blame your own misery to the adultery of the world, but ignore your own sins. My son, you might have forgotten me in your everyday struggle, but I am always there with you. I am in your thoughts and beliefs through all that I have taught you.
My father, this has been a disastrous year for us. All my savings, my money has been washed away in clearing the medical bills. My son has been suffering from COVID-19, and now we are struggling to even meet our basic needs.
If you have the belief that you can do it, I shall surely acquire the capacity to do it when if you may not have it at the beginning. It has been a difficult year for everybody, my son, but if you wish to change the situation you are in, you have to become that change.
My father, how do I go about it?
You were on the right path. You have only lost your way momentarily. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others.
But father, I could really use the money. I am in dire need of it. Also, nobody is looking for the money. Someone must have left it there.
Yes, but look at that infirm old woman there. She is in greater need of the money. You can donate it to her. I am sure you will recognize your true strength. In a gentle way, you can shake the world.
The man takes a closer look at the note. It seemed to him for the first time that Gandhiji was smiling with contentment. He takes the note and hands it over to the fragile old lady. The old lady takes the money with amazement and joy in equal measure. The man walks off only to look back at the old lady over his shoulders with a smile of satisfaction.
The philosophy of non-violence and ahimsa can be well associated with Gandhi, whose practice of ahimsa was an extension of reverence for other religions and a sense of fraternity. His peaceful, non-violent opposition to the arbitrary use of state power is an indication of the Gandhian legacy today.
Gandhi's role in the upliftment of women across is indeed ineluctable. His attitude towards women were influenced by his belief in gender equality. It is worth mentioning that Gandhiji always considered women to be the more enlightened sex, urging all women to participate in his political movements, making ways to come out of all confinements and stand as equal to men.
Regarding his leadership in the civil disobedience movement, Mahatma Gandhi played a crucial role in the unification of our country, awakening of the masses, bringing politics as such within the reach of common man.
Not only did Gandhi fuel emancipation of women but too the Dalits, to terminating the so-called concept of untouchability. His setting up of Anti-Untouchability League became a major breakthrough moment in this regard.
Gandhi was one of the most exuberant pioneers of environmental sustainability. His model of sustainability still continues to hold relevance in our burgeoning and populous nation. Mahatma Gandhi was the driving force behind what would later become a vigorous environmental movement by campaigning against the excesses of industrial development and consequently promoting renewable energy and small-scale irrigation systems.
Gandhiji's method of satyagraha is worth commendable on many grounds. This method acted as a progenitor to achieve a resolute end to subordination. Be it Chipko movement in the 1970s for bringing an end to deforestation to tribal movement in the 1980s, Central India against a massive dam construction, to the more recent 2011 anti-corruption campaign which spread nationwide in a praiseworthy attempt to counter the political class.
His influence on the Muslim population was remarkable. This is quite conspicuous in his involvement in the Khilafat movement. Gandhiji was a prominent spokesperson of the All India Muslim Conference. His role in the Khilafat made him the national leader in no time.
Gandhiji's Salt March, also known as the Dandi movement, is considered to be the most pivotal incident in the history of freedom struggle. Based on Gandhi's principle of non-violence or satyagraha, the march marked the inauguration of the civil disobedience movement, to later follow the Purna Swaraj Declaration by the Indian National Congress on January 26, 1930.
Gandhi's greatest achievements as such as in motivating and mobilizing the masses of India across the states regardless of their differences in language, religion, caste, creed and sex to come together and fight for the cause of freedom under the banner of Indian National Congress.
Last but not the least, Mahatma Gandhi was the leader who guided India towards independence. His contribution to the Indian freedom movement cannot be measured in words. He, along with other freedom fighters, compelled the British to leave India. His policies and agendas were non-violent, and his words were the source of inspiration for millions.
Gandhiji inspired the citizens of India by emulating the philosophy of non-violence or ahimsa, the cardinal virtues of Jainism, Hinduism and Buddhism. His manner of dressing has portrayed the simplicity and aesthetic values that had always been a part of all his life lessons. He had contributed significantly towards shaping our nation with self-reliance by promoting the use of charkha. His simple yet effective techniques of protest like satyagraha showcases his humility and depth of understanding through simplest of actions, which made him the Mahatma. He believed that earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed. Through his simplest yet significant voice of action, he showed the entire world that in a gentle way you can shake the world. And we still follow all the maxims laid out by him. Gandhiji inspired the citizens of India by emulating the philosophy of non-violence or ahimsa, the cardinal virtues of Jainism, Hinduism and Buddhism. His manner of dressing has portrayed the simplicity and aesthetic values that had always been a part of all his life lessons. He had contributed significantly towards shaping our nation with self-reliance by promoting the use of charkha. His simple yet effective techniques of protest like satyagraha showcases his humility and depth of understanding through simplest of actions, which made him the Mahatma. He believed that earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed. Through his simplest yet significant voice of action, he showed the entire world that in a gentle way you can shake the world. And we still follow all the maxims laid out by him.
I would like to thank all the participants for their committed endeavor. We are indebted to Principal Ma'am for allowing us to organize this program and our teachers for their continued support. We are grateful to the authorities of Kamala Devi Sohanraj Singhvi Jain College of Education for their unflinching support during such a difficult time. The participants for this program were ideation by Ochit Dotto, Dipayan Majumdar, Madhusri Saha, and Shraman Jana. Script writer Ochit Dotto, Shraman Jana, and Triparna Banerjee. Video editing by Ankita Paul and Madhusri Saha. Performers Anjali Pandey, Reba Majhi, Jehi Kalbalia, Apabrita Das, and Disha Bhattacharya. Anchor Disha Bhattacharya, Sanhita Das, and Sneha Mukherjee. Skit performance by Archit Datta and Shraman Jana. Artwork by Ovijit Patro, Banya Chatterjee, Shreya Rai, and Triparna Banerjee. Thank you.